Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus channel. In the early 2000s, the United States Navy began envisioning a new type of vessel. One that could operate in the areas near shore, typically known as littorals. The Navy wanted a vessel that was fast, agile, stealthy, and most importantly, versatile enough to handle a wide range of threats. They asked multiple contractors to create their own design for the vessel, which would eventually be called a Littoral Combat Ship, or LCS. One of the first iterations of this new ship type was known as the Independence-class, designed by General Dynamics. It featured a unique trimaran design to help reduce drag and increase speed. While initially successful, the project had exceeded its budget many times over. And performance issues eventually convinced the Navy to scrap the Independence-class LCS with under 20 ships constructed. At the same time, General Dynamics was working on the trimaran version of the LCS. And Lockheed Martin was creating this version of the Littoral Combat Ship, the Freedom-class. Here you can see the commission and launch of the USS Minneapolis-St. Paul, which bears little resemblance to the less traditional ships of the Independence-class. The Minneapolis-St. Paul is 387 feet long and nearly 60 feet wide. Its size allows it to reach speeds of around 52 miles per hour, which certainly meets the criteria laid out by the U.S. Navy during the initial research into littoral combat ship capabilities. This class of vessel boasts a core crew complement of around 35 to 50, as well as multiple high-speed boats. It can also launch helicopters and VTOL drones from its rear flight deck. Despite their many differences, both approaches to the LCS proved incredibly lethal and very capable of fulfilling their combat roles. The General Dynamics Independence-class, which was launched in February of 2015, boasts an array of weaponry, including a BAE Systems Mk-110 57mm cannon, a CRAM 11-cell missile launcher, and RGM-184 naval strike missiles. This makes the vessel a formidable opponent for ships, aircraft, and enemies operating on the nearby shore. The Freedom-class vessels are similarly armed, boasting RIM 166 rolling airframe missiles, Mark 50 torpedoes, and the same heavy deck-mounted cannons. Their monohulls also boast a well deck, which allows boats to be launched and recovered from both the stern and the side. Both versions of the LCS incorporated helipads, or flight decks, though the Freedom-class incorporated aerial vehicles more comprehensively. The vessels were designed to carry one Sikorsky and MH-60 RS Seahawk helicopter, and up to two MQ-8B Fire Scout aerial drones. Here, the former engages in flight operations aboard the USS Fort Worth. These versatile aircraft can carry up to 5 passengers, or sling-load payloads of up to 6,000 pounds. They are also heavily armed and can provide air support for LCS vessels even if they're on their own. Despite building around 30 vessels in all, neither Littoral combat ship design fulfilled the Navy's needs. Both suffered frequent cost and performance issues, while the versatile, modular mission packages that would have made them a success never materialized. When the LCS program ended, the Navy renewed its focus on the capabilities of the current destroyer fleet. Since 1991, this was typified by the Arleigh Burke class of guided missile attack ships. These heavily armed and armored vessels were specifically built around the Aegis combat system, a command and control interface that uses powerful computers and radar technology to guide weapons toward their intended targets. The Arleigh Burke class vessels average around 505 feet long and 66 feet wide, or about half the size of a modern Nimitz-class aircraft carrier. They boast a complement of around 300 and utilize a wide range of weapons, sensors, and electronic warfare systems to patrol and protect the seas. This live fire exercise shows the sheer power of the USS Sampson's 5-inch 54 caliber gun. The gun boasts a range of around 13 nautical miles and can have devastating effects on its targets. These weapons are designed for use against aircraft and surface warships and to attack threats on the shore. They can be fired under fully automatic control or occupied by a 6-person crew, who can keep the weapon stocked with heavy ammunition. Another standard weapon aboard an Arleigh Burke destroyer is the CIWS, closed-in weapon system. This consists of a gun or missile battery attached to powerful radars and computers. Upon detecting threats, these automated defense systems spring into action. In the case of this rotary cannon design, the most effective use would be against incoming fast boats or other hard-to-target enemies. Despite their lethal directive, destroyers must be maintained like any other vessel. Here you can see crew members aboard the USS O'Kane performing maintenance on the ship's lifelines. This term refers to various lines, ropes, and chains that cover the decks of ships, providing something for sailors to grasp in bad weather or rough seas. In many cases, a lifeline can mean the difference between going overboard or not. Many modern lifelines are made out of Kevlar, the same material used in bulletproof vests. These lines have a coating that must be frequently replenished due to the harsh, salty air. The coating keeps the material from deteriorating and ensures the lifelines can live up to their name in an emergency. Life aboard an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer is not wholly different from living aboard any other military vessel. These destroyers are often referred to as the workhorses of the Navy. Though their primary mission is offensive, they need to be versatile enough to handle a wide range of jobs when called upon. In many cases, crews will be asked to join carrier strike groups, where they are tasked with protecting other, larger ships. Though the crew complement is small compared to other military ships, life aboard a destroyer is still quite cramped. Crew members work in shifts, alternating between watch, work, and personal time. Training exercises and live fire drills are performed frequently in order to ensure combat readiness.
Exercise. We have indication
1009 and Department 1, Tech 254, Tech 6.
For several decades, the Arleigh Burke-class destroyers remained an integral part of the United States Navy's mission. In fact, all 70 of the ships that have been completed are still in service. Owing to their toughness and ability to be upgraded with new systems as technology improves. Regardless of their overall success, the U.S. Navy did attempt to replace the first-generation Arleigh Burke-class vessels with a brand new, highly innovative type of destroyer. This was the Zumwalt-class, a new type of vessel designed with a focus on stealth, modular mission capabilities, and automation. These 600-foot-long ships looked quite different from their predecessors, boasting a cowled design that helped minimize their radar signature. The Zumwalt-class is faster and operated with roughly half the crew required on a traditional destroyer. Their armament could easily be swapped out depending on the mission type, giving the Zumwalt-class an impressive level of versatility. From Tomahawk and Sparrow missiles to submarine hunting weapons and vertical launching systems, these vessels remain incredibly formidable in battle situations. Here, you can see the flagship of the class, the USS Zumwalt, participating in a live fire test of its Mk-57 vertical launching system. Developed in the mid-1980s, this system consists of a series of small hatches placed in rows along the deck. Each hatch contains a vertical canister that can be loaded with various types of missiles. Part of the Aegis combat system that serves as the basis for all modern U.S. destroyers, the Mk-57 battery is just 7 feet wide and 14 feet long. It allows missiles to be fired much faster than traditional batteries. This is not only integral to the Zumwalt's offensive capabilities, but to its ability to intercept and destroy incoming ballistic missiles from enemy sources. In the end, only 3 Zumwalt-class vessels were constructed. Though the program proved a viable replacement for the Arleigh Burke destroyers, construction costs ended up massively overrunning estimates. Each of the 3 completed ships cost around $7.5 billion when factoring in research and development costs. This proved far too much cost for the perceived benefit, and the U.S. Navy canceled the program. Instead, they upgraded the versatile Arleigh Burke ships into a new configuration, installing the technology necessary to keep them competitive for another few decades. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.